right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to KGX to the ZTV. Here with a quick one, right? We'll combine the Southampton review with the Spurs preview all in one, right? So midweek match, and we've had plenty of midweek matches with the Conference League already. Carabao Cup. We've got the squad depth to rotate, and we did. We rotated a little bit. We had Jorgensen come in goal against Southampton. We had Gusto coming back. We had DeSassi coming in at center back for the injured Fofana. We had Madueke coming back in. Hasn't started a little bit. Maresca's made some claims in the pressers about not being happy with how Nani's been training and things like that. We had Jackson, who's on a booking, so very smart by Maresca to rest him. And Cuckoo comes in, and then João Felix came in on the left hand side. Mudryk was out sick, so it would have been nice to see him get some minutes over there. It would have been nice to see Sancho sort of continue. But that was the squad. We can't rotate too much because it was important for us to pick up the 3 points. And we did. 5-1. Not too much to say about this game. Southampton is awful. Not only are they awful in terms of personnel and things like that, but their play style is very inviting. They gifted us 2 goals, the Ekuku goal as well as the Cole Palmer goal. Both of them, we sort of just walked into the net. And then, on top of that, they were also missing key players, right? They were missing one of their center backs. They were missing Dibbling. They were missing Ramsdale. Through a combination of suspensions for the first 2 of the guys that I mentioned, and then injury for Ramsdale. So they're down to their second keeper. They're trying to play out the back. The conditions were terrible. We were pressing high. We did come out, in all honesty, and Southampton sort of was creating some opportunities, playing through us a little too easy for my liking in the first half. But we settled down. We got the early goal, lost some concentration again, conceded the second goal. Enzo error, DeSassi asleep at the front post, Tosin asleep at the back post, and they got back into it. But like I mentioned, Southampton just gives goals, right? And if you're going to be a bottom club, at least make yourself hard to beat, right? Like set up shop like Everton, be physical, be good on set pieces, have a couple of players that have moments of individual or the capability to have moments of individual quality and punish you like that. But Southampton was just terrible. And if it wasn't for poor finishing, this one would have been 7-1, 8-1, maybe even in the first half, right? Like we were missing opportunities for fun. And you could see it was one of those games where we knew, and once they went down to 10 men, once they had a guy get sent off for pulling on Cucurella's hair, we knew, that sort of perked everyone up and everyone was sort of trying to get their GNA. But not in a selfish way, right? We've seen, moments of selfishness from, the likes of Madueke, from the likes of Palmer, Jackson, and things like that in the past. But this was just a lack of composure in front of goal. Maybe, like I said, the weather conditions were awful, so maybe that had some impact on it. But we were wasteful, and even it's kind of weird to walk away from a situation where you win 5-1 and you're still like, could have been 6, could have been 7, could have been 8. But it was a good opportunity for us, and we did move into second because of goal difference, right? Arsenal ended up beating United 2-0, pretty comfortable there. But 5-1, no injuries. Sancho gets his first goal, and Cuckoo gets a goal. Palmer gets a goal. Madueke gets a goal. DeSassi gets a goal. So the goals were spread out. No injuries. So we move, right? So we move up to second. I might add, ahead of Arsenal goal difference. But while we were taking care of our business, Spurs played a day later. So good for us, not only because we get an extra day's of rest, but also Spurs did what Spurs do and lost 2-0 away to Bournemouth. In the process, an already ravaged and depleted defense that was out with Van de Ven was missing, Romero is missing, Vicario is out missing, and then Ben Davies picks up a hamstring injury. So they're down to Dragonson and maybe Archie Gray, who played right back for that one. Maybe Archie Gray comes in and plays center back for him. But Spurs did what Spurs do, conceded set piece corner goals. So that's definitely an area that, even though we're not great on set piece goals, even though despite the Sassy scoring a header in this one off of a corner, um, that's an area that we should look to exploit, right? We know Fraser Foster is better on set pieces than Vicario, but still, it's their organization, it's their marking, it's their setup that is the worrying aspect for Spurs fans when it comes to set pieces and things like that. So as long as we get the good delivery, we'll have opportunities to score off those set pieces. So um, yeah, coming into this one, like I said, no major injuries. We know Reese is out, and things like that. But apart from that, everyone is seemingly Reese and Fafana. Everyone is seemingly healthy. We've got some important minutes, and some folks that got some rest against Southampton. Nico was on a suspension, so if he got suspended and picked up a stupid yellow card, which he likes to do for Southampton, he would have missed this one. So Nico will come back into the side. Yeah, and I'd expect a little bit of a stronger side for us coming back into it, right? So, if we're looking at it from an aspect of what we think the 11 is going to be, Sanchez will definitely come back in goal for Jorgensen, who's pretty good. He had a shaky sort of clearance slash kick versus Southampton, but apart from that, made a couple really good saves, and I've been impressed with his shot stopping ability. A little bit calmer on the ball. Sanchez definitely has a better long pass than him, but Jorgensen might be a little bit better at playing balls onto the ground into our center backs, into our midfielders, and even into our attackers that drop deep sometimes too. So right back will be interesting, right? Because we've seen Caicedo sort of start there on paper and defend there in wide areas, and then move into the midfield when we're in attack to give us a little bit more balance when it comes to build up. But what that does is that sort of makes Cucurella drop back into more of like a left center back role, pushes Colwell into the middle, and then we'll probably see Badia Shield as that right sided center back, or maybe he'll go left sided center back with Colwell in that right center back, depending on who Maresca sort of favors as a better passer, probably with his opposition foot. But when it comes to passing, both of those they're very good. Colwell's a little bit safer. Betty Show has lapses of concentration where he will just pass it directly to somebody, or he will play a ball into a midfielder that's being tightly marked. Like he loves to play it directly into Caicedo when the guy's right on his back, or Enzo or Lavia. Lavia is a little bit better at wiggling out of those situations than Caicedo and Enzo, but we'll probably see those combinations in the back. The only change, like I mentioned, is right back. Maybe Gusto plays again, but Gusto played all 90 for Southampton, and he's sort of just coming back, finding some minutes from his injury absence. A couple weeks ago, a couple fixtures ago. So we'll see, but we'll definitely probably see. Caicedo will definitely be in there. He goes with a three in the midfield with Caicedo, Enzo, and Lavia. And that way he puts Caicedo at right back and they go in. But we'll definitely see Neto, who's stat out. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you hit that subscribe. We'll definitely see Palmer in the 10. And then possibly, if he wants to go for pace, then he goes Neto left wing, Madueke right wing. Or if he wants to go for control, he'll go Sancho left wing, Neto right wing. And then Jackson will definitely come back into the squad, and then Palmer will be there in the 10. So we've got options. It all depends on what Maresca wants from this game. And the good thing about going into whenever you're playing Spurs with Ange is you know how Ange is going to set up. You know how Ange is going to play. Maybe he drops their line a little bit deeper if Ben Davies can't go, which I'd imagine would be a little tough and go, right? He came off with a hamstring injury in the second half. Do you really want to play a guy with a tender hamstring on a high line who's already a little bit older, doesn't have the pace, against one of the quickest front threes? When you look at if you had Neto, if you had Mudryk, if you had Jackson, if you had Madueke up there, and then with passers like we do in the back with Caicedo can find a ball over the top, Enzo can find a ball over the top, and then our two center backs can definitely play passes into Jackson's feed and things like that. So we've got the tactical flexibility. We've got the squad to carry out different ways of attack and things like that. It's just a matter of just executing, doing what we do best, and taking advantage of what Spurs is gonna give us and the opportunities that they're going to present to us um, with their play style and with how Ange will set them up. And then it's just about our composure under goal, in front of goal, and making sure that we convert the chances that we get, because Spurs will give us some chances. They've given them to pretty much every team that they've played. Even that 4-0 away scoreline versus City, if Holland had buried a couple of his chances early, maybe that match turns out a little bit differently. But they're going to give you opportunities. So it's just about us being clinical in front of goal, and we've seen matches where we've been clinical. Wolves away, New West Ham away, but we've also seen matches where we've been wasteful. Nottingham Forest at home, Palace at home. Who else? Even Leicester away. So it's up to us to just make sure we take those chances and to really kick a Spurs team that's down. Right, I go into this one thinking that with the same mentality that I had going away to Old Trafford, in that we need to get all 3 points and we need to put some goals past them, because these are sides that are struggling or were struggling at the time, and you need to beat squads that are in bad form. And Tottenham they're definitely in a bad moment right now. So yeah, it's not much to say. 3 points is the goal. 3 points is what we need. 3 points is more than the performance. Is more important than the performance. But it's also, it'd be nice to do both, and it'd be nice to beat another top six squad. We've struggled a little bit, right? We 2-1 away to Anfield, which is always going to be tough. 2-0 to City. At home, we lost, and then the 1-1 away at Old Trafford, which we kind of struggle with. So it's time for us to take that next step and start beating these top six teams, especially a top six London rival. Again, Arsenal was in there too, where we drew 1-1. So we need to, if we actually are serious about this title contention thing, which I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but we have the upcoming fixture run to get it done, and to sort of kind of create not a gap between us, but I'll say a gap between us and the rest of the top four. But to also, if you want to win in this league now, you have to be able to go on 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 game unbeaten runs where you pick up maximum points. And we've got the squad depth for it. We might not have the maturity for it. We might not have the experience in doing it, but we've got the talent. Like I said, we've got the fixtures, the favorable fixtures. And it's just a matter of us going out there, managing the minutes, managing injuries, managing rotation, and us just playing well, putting in the performances, getting performances from our top players, being a little bit more resolute at the back, not playing ourselves into trouble and sort of gifting opportunities away, right? Because we know Sanchez is been very good at his shot stopping this year, but you want to keep those shots on target from the opposition down, so that you don't have to sort of worry about that. And whenever there's games where you don't see much action from your keeper, that's a good sign, right? That means you're not creating, you're not allowing opportunities, you're not calling on your keeper for action and things like that. So again, the opportunity is there. It's just a matter of whether or not we can capitalize on the opportunity. If we're talking prediction, I'm gonna say 2-1. 2-1 Chelsea. Gets a little nervy at the end because Spurs will feed off the crowd, and they'll push for it. They're going to be up for it. They're going to be kicking and fighting and screaming and pulling and doing all the things that you would expect in a London derby between Spurs and Chelsea. So again, up to the test mentally, up to the test physically. Come prepared with a good game plan. Execute. Continue with this some of these players that are on good form, and go out there and take the 3 points, and then we move. We'll reevaluate where we are in the season after this fixture run, and after the holidays fixture congestion and the New Year and things like that. So again, Vital that we take these 3 points. Vital that we kick Spurs while they're down. Vital that you hit that like button. Vital that you hit that subscribe. And vital that you check it out at the next one. Peace.